Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out big news. And today we got really big news, and you're going to find out about it in a second. It's from Liquid Avatar Technologies, and with us is David LAVCE. He's the CEO. The company trades on the CSE under LQID. And for friends in the US, kind of new listing there on the OTCQB under LQAVF. For those who are new to the story, here's how we explain it, because it's high tech and it's coming into a world that a lot of people don't know is coming. But Liquid Avatar is ahead of the game by heads and tails of anybody in the small cap space. So how do we describe it? It's a global, the company's a global blockchain, personal identity, and fintech company. It empowers people like you and me, individuals, okay, to manage, control, and generate profit, right? We profit from our biometrically verified online identity. They call it self-sovereign identity. And that's all done through the company's Liquid Avatar platform. So generally speaking, or simply stated, Liquid Avatar turns a problem of data privacy, and this is very simply stated, into a profit for individuals while providing big businesses with new and compliant business models. And we're seeing this everywhere. I put a tweet out yesterday about where this is going, but what you guys should know at home, Google has already announced a major shift, and a lot of people don't know this, big announcement a few months ago, a major shift away from precision targeting of ads based on everything you do on the internet. I mean, that's how Google essentially grew this monster of a company, and they're going to be getting away from that somewhere around 2023. The Ontario government, one of many, has released its digital strategy for digital identity. They announced that a few months ago. And when we were talking with David about Liquid Avatar last year, people thought, okay, this is something coming way in the future, but it's here now. And the press release we're talking about is this. New technology from Liquid Avatar provides digital verifiable credentials for COVID-19 testing. There's a lot to unpack. Let's talk about it. David, welcome back. What are we doing here, man?
Wow. Wow. That was a big intro, George. Great to be here. Excited. Been working around the clock the last few days to get this all put together, but we're excited to announce the fact that our Liquid Avatar verifiable credential ecosystem, or as we call it, the LAVCE, is ready to go. And we're here to announce that we're including COVID-19 health testing as part of the process, where individuals can get health tests and get verifiable credentials and then share those credentials with an employer, workplace, venue, education institute, any facility that takes the credential to prove that they are COVID-free.
Because right now, I mean, I just traveled to and from Seattle. Mm-hmm. And the credentials they got from me was the ArriveCan app, and I uploaded my vaccination, number 1, number 2, my COVID test. But at the end of the day, I was thinking to myself, I could have photoshopped all of this and no one would know, right? And we do know that a couple of weeks ago, a couple of guys were charged $20,000. They're fined $20,000 for, I guess, presenting fake COVID-19 test results, right? So this is the problem, and this is the problem you're solving, right? This isn't just, a fancy way to carry your credentials. You're solving a major problem. And you're saying this, it's a first Canadian effort and an early global leader to provide true blockchain-enabled, W3C compliant, don't worry about everything at home, digital identity verified COVID-19 testing confirmation. I mean, that's a mouthful. Walk us through, if I've identified the problem correctly, and how you guys are solving it as an early global leader.
Well, I think you've done a really good job with it, George. We're providing a simple solution to a very complicated problem. You know, when you think about it, we all want to be, for most of us at least, want to be socially responsible. We want to make sure we're looking after ourselves, our family, and making sure we're not hurting others. And the challenge with COVID, it's not really enough sometimes just to have a vaccination, or to determine that you don't want a vaccination. Are you still safe to be in the environment with others? And whether you're traveling or other solutions or other things you're doing, you may have to have a COVID test. Now, the challenge is, so I get a COVID test and I present it, and is that a true situation? Does it belong to me? Is it really real? What's the validity of it? Well, verifiable credentials using the blockchain, you remove all the mistrust. It removes all the potential fraud. It connects a digital identity, your verified identity, with the test credential from an Ontario-based lab. Now, we are looking to expand this well beyond Ontario, but we're starting with Vector Labs in Ontario.
You have to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. And really what it means is, when you get a test at Vector Labs, you'll be able to download initially the Liquid Avatar app, and down the road, maybe the Vector Lab with a Liquid Avatar digital wallet built into it. And you'll be able to connect both your credential, your test results, to your identity. And when you present it at a location, that location will verify that, one, it's you, and two, you have this issued credential, and you'll be free to pass or access or whatever the opportunity is. It really takes the guesswork out of it, takes the fraud out of it. It uses the same cryptographic technology in blockchain that cryptocurrencies use. It's never been hacked, never been dealt with. It is absolutely amazing. And others are talking about this. We've seen a lot of releases lately about people talking about this problem, talking about verifiable credentials. We're not talking, we're doing.
So walk us through the business model, and then we'll get back to some of the technicalities.
Sure.
Walk us through the business model. You've got LAVCE. You've got LAVCE now, right? So you've got Vector Labs one, and you're going to grow like everything. The first time PayPal came out, everything starts from somewhere, right? Until it gets really scales up. How do you make money, and why, and how do I, if I'm a business owner? Government's easy. I can understand the airport. The airport wants to know that I've actually got the test done and the vaccinations done. But how do you make money, and what's the benefit to restaurants, arenas, and bigger, big business locations like that?
So it's fairly simple. First of all, let's start with there's three players in the ecosystem. The first is the holder, an individual or entity that holds the credential in their wallet, you or me. They never pay anything. And in fact, in the Liquid Avatar mobile app in our system, they have an opportunity to gain benefit, value, and as you say, turn data into a profit. I'll leave it as your statement, but I think it's a good statement. So the consumer pays nothing. For a business that wants to issue their own credentials, like a lab or something, it's just pennies, really, at the end of the day. It works down to pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. I mean, that's the way the system works. Very similar to card programs. So to issue a credential is very inexpensive from a lab, or at some time down the road, a travel agency or any organization to issue a credential. It's a SaaS model, software as a service. They've got a portal, they can issue a credential. Now, for a business to verify a credential, it is just literally pennies. It is the ability for you to take in that verification, that peace of mind, check your employees, check your patrons, check everyone for pennies. I mean, you could probably do Scotia Arena for less than a couple $1,000, the entire arena. It's so inexpensive, but it offers such security, such peace of mind, and there is never a transfer of private information unless the holder agrees that they want to provide something. So if I give you my credential, I'm verifying that the credential exists and that I'm transferring it to you, but you don't need my name or any of my information. It's not like the contact tracing programs out there where I have to give up my name, my email address, my phone number, and then you don't know if they're tracking.
So I could walk into the Scotiabank Arena and it won't say George Cholis birthday and all those things, but it'll just say, hey, the guy holding this, that's him, and this credential's real. So he's good.
Let me qualify that a little bit, because yes, sort of. It will want to verify your identity, but with you on the system, right? So think about going in and using your credit card or debit card. Do you show your driver's license? Do you show your passport? There is a trust in the system that says, they do challenge you by asking you for a PIN, but that's the way it works. Identity transactions by Liquid Avatar work exactly the same way. You present a credential, it doesn't need to know your name and address and driver's license number to know that you're 19 or over. Just needs to know the credential is checked and you are 19 or over. This is such a revolutionary way for us to continue to secure and protect privacy, maintain trust, and follow all the privacy rules out there. So we're not giving out information willy-nilly. We're not giving away our valuable data. These are verifiable credentials, and the applications are endless. For education, someone taking a test for qualification. There are so many different applications.
So it's not just for COVID. It's
no.
I'm writing the LSAT, the law school admissions test, and right now I know that cheating in LSAT, MCAT, and all those things is rampant. Yeah. It's gone wild. So now this is going to tell the school or the place where the test's being taken that
you are you and you're taking the test. So it's the applications. This is just the start of applications. I mean, when the readers read the release, they're going to see other things mentioned in other applications and other opportunities. This is just like literally, the sub basement opportunity. It's the first, but it is very important to the economy, getting people working. And we do know that there is this, upswell and for passport credentials, and we're health passport credentials, and we're looking at that as well. We've applauded the government and what they've done, but we know that businesses are vehemently asking for, vaccination passports and health credentials, because, I was talking to someone today and it was really interesting. Most of the international kiosks for travel are shut down at the airports because they can't verify your health. So you go on a plane and they want to know if you got a health record. A lot of these kiosks can't check you in automatically. So there's lots. So imagine all the airlines and all the extra staff they need to put on place. And how do they know this credential is good or that? People have also asked us, well, why your credential? Why not other credentials? We believe that while we're believed to be the first in Canada and one of the leaders globally in this, there will be others. But think about, again, cards. There's Visa, there's MasterCard, there's American Express, there's Discover, there's private cards. So we believe that by starting at the forefront, we'll be one of the leaders potentially in this industry. And that has a lot of value to ourselves and our stakeholders.
So how do you scale this, David? Because even by using your example earlier, if you got the Scotiabank Arena as a client, it's $2,000, under $2,000 for 25,000 people. By the way, which is great if you did a whole bunch, 100 of those a year. Okay, it would be a nice customer, right? But how do you scale? Because you're a small cap company and you want to take this to the world. Are you guys going to try and go direct, just knock down one by one, or are you going to get this done through partnerships and associations where you're going as a group to bigger groups? Say, hey, we got the whole thing wrapped up for you.
Well, let me qualify that. When we talked about the arena, I'm not saying that Scotiabank Arena is a client of ours. That was an example.
Well, no, I know that. Yeah, it was
but that would be for one game,
right?
So, or one event a year. So you can imagine the number of events per year. You can imagine the number of restaurants, the number of opportunities. So we're looking at partnering with associations and other organizations to promote this as a healthy way to get back to life and increase the get back to the economy. We want to make sure that children are safe in schools. We want to make sure that people are presenting valid credentials. We want to make sure that people can get back to work and people are comfortable in doing so. So think of every office or office building. Think of every sports team, every little league or house league team. Think of all these things that you do where you're interacting with other people. This goes way beyond contact tracing and includes complete privacy. So it's really an amazing opportunity, but we're seeing a lot of interest in our product. since we announced Vector Lab, and a lot of those deals we hope will come to fruition in the next few months. But we're also talking to massive global organizations. We're talking to organizations that represent countries. So we're not just talking about, you know, an arena, we're talking organizations that represent countries. And so at the end of the day, you know, we believe there's a ton of blue sky. Again, we don't believe that we'll be alone. This verifiable credentials and digital identity are addressable to 100% of the online market. I don't think we have the capacity today to handle 5 billion people online, you know, but
yeah, again, either the PayPal on day one, you know, I mean,
exactly.
you got to scale up scales. Win scale, right?
Right. The technology is completely scalable. It's built, you know, with the Indicio network, and you know, we're backboned by companies like IBM and AWS, and so we've got some really amazing partners that are helping us scale. So we don't believe scale is an issue. The technology is now built, and like every technology, will continue to go through growth cycles. I mean, we are just starting to showcase now our updated Liquid Avatar app for mobile app, and I'm blown away by what the team has done. We listen to the feedback, we listen to users, we listen to focus groups, and we've really improved the user interface and some of the ease of use of the app. We're just seeing tremendous response now because the markets, I don't mean the financial markets, but all the markets have woken up to the fact that, you know, unfortunately, COVID is not going away. Unfortunately, a lot of the issues that persist with remote education and some of the other activities need verification of individuals. And as that comes to the internet, it will explode because it affects everyone. We believe we're at the forefront of that opportunity.
When you and I first started talking last year, even before you went public, and we were meeting at, you know, outdoor cafes when they're allowed to be open, we're talking about it. I remember back then saying, David, I totally see it, but this is 5 years away. You know, how far away is this? And here we are, Google's making massive shifts. The Ontario government, BC government's already, you know,
Quebec's announced a passport already.
Yeah. So have you even been surprised by the acceleration and how fast this is happening? You have to be a little bit surprised, no?
Yeah,
and which is good news.
No, I am. You know that I started in e-commerce and helped develop, you know, gateways for online banking, like a credit card input. So, and everybody told me at that time no one would shop online, and kept telling me no one would shop online. So, and eventually,
no one's going to use a damn nobody's credentials app.
I put on this one, I put earplugs in and said everybody's going to do this, and what we're seeing is our solutions like ours, especially ours, are so easy to implement. It's so easy for the individual or entity, the holder. It's so easy for the issuer. It's so easy for the verifier, and it's so cost effective that adoption is we think is a very natural process. Plus, unfortunately, and again, we don't want to take comfort in the misery of others, for certain. And you know, our frontline workers and our grocery store workers have done such an amazing job, but we've got to keep everybody safe and secure. And if we can even contribute this much to that opportunity and that problem, then I think we've done some great work. And from that, we can blossom and go into other areas.
I got to tell you, all bias aside, because, you know, I call out my famous line sometimes in interviews is, let me play devil's advocate, because when I see a big hole, I'll say it, right? But I'm traveling again to the US on Friday, and the hassle we're going through, keeping track of all these paper documents, the COVID test, I got to download my vaccination proof again, and different sources, different places. My kids that have student visas, right? It just, I got to take an encyclopedia with us. And the worst part about it is you take that encyclopedia with you, and the guy beside me could have the same encyclopedia, and it's just all photoshopped. It's just all, who the hell actually knows? So I'm doing the right thing. I'm running around now and I'm doing all the right things. And here's Bob right beside me who's saying, I'm not going to run around like George and his family, I'm just going to Photoshop this stuff, throw it into a binder, and away I go. So I can tell you right now, I'm a huge proponent. If I could get to a vector lab, do our testing, right? And it goes right into my, my liquid avatar. I present it at the airport, bang, bang, done. I would be a huge proponent of it, man.
Well, that is coming, but I do want to say something that I think is really important. Part of this journey and part of the organizations that we belong to, whether it's the Trust Over IP Foundation, the Good Health Pass Initiative, the DIACC, all of these organizations really think about inclusion. So we've got to think about inclusion, but socially responsible inclusion. So what do we do for people who don't have electronic means?
Okay,
So paper and email is not going away, but for the vast majority that have a smartphone, we can do better. We can all do better. And
be devil's advocate, does that mean, a bunch of people say, well, if my grandmother can use paper, to hell with it, I'm just going to use paper also? Why does George say, yeah, even though my grandmother can use paper because she doesn't have a smartphone, to hell with it, I'm just going to use paper too?
Well, let me ask you, George, do you still have a passbook for a bank account?
No.
I don't think anybody does. So even grandmas don't have it. So it's there is an adoption curve, but as technologists and citizens, and we have to think outside the box. We have to include everyone, because it's not fair if we don't. But we've also got to look at where regulations and adoption and government edicts and businesses will take this. This is not just being driven anymore by governments. This is being driven by businesses that want to stay in business, want to perform tasks, want their workers to come back. So again, this is part of a bigger initiative. It's not just COVID testing, and it's not just vaccination registries or passports. I was talking to someone today who wants to go to France, in Quebec, and we were on a business call, and they said, look, I want to originally from France, I want to go back home, but France doesn't recognize my Quebec COVID vaccination.
Yep.
So if I go to France, I can land, but I can't go to any restaurants, any museums. I can't go anywhere because I can't get their health pass. So again, think about this when we're already there, when we're thinking about this as do card networks, that when you go to a payment terminal,
Right,
you might
right.
have 6 different cards that are accepted by a merchant. There will be different passes, different credentials. We just want to be at the front of the pack leading, not, sort of at the back of the pack. The air is better at the front of the pack than it is at the back of the pack. So for us, it's all about starting somewhere. So we're starting with COVID testing. We're proving the model. We're moving into other business opportunities and other initiatives. But what we have done is put a stake in the ground and said, our verifiable credentials are ready to go. There is a video demonstration that we'll share with Agoracom that you can put up on our Investor Hub, and and kind of go from there.
Yeah, in fact, maybe we'll actually go through that video presentation next time together, or next couple of days or something like that, because I think that'd be worthwhile.
Yeah,
man, David, congratulations, because this is an incredibly complex problem. So this is not easy. I'm a tech guy. I mean, I'm no Steve Jobs, but I'm a tech guy, and from the day we met, I knew what problem you're solving. I knew what you're going through. And I would hold my head sometimes saying, I don't want to be that guy. When you succeed, when you're globally, scaled, I'm definitely going to want to be you. But in the meantime, I don't want to be you, because this is brand new territory. This is brand new territory. And hats off to you and the team for how far you guys have come. And with this announcement now about this next big step, and from the sounds of it, hopefully, fingers crossed, you're in some conversations. There is some interest. I guess you've kind of scoped the field a little bit just to see if there's and it sounds like there's some positive. We're not making any claims about contracts or sales happening, but you've been receptive. The reception has been positive.
It has been very positive. We've been doing some early stage demos and showcasing the software, and the reaction, in fairness, has been exceptional. The feedback's been excellent. but none of it's been negative. And again, we're talking to people who are pro vaccination, con vaccination, pro health, con health, because we can show different applications. It's just been it's been wonderful to see. And the other thing is, the investors put a lot of trust into us in December, and we raised capital, and we put that capital to such what we believe is such good work.
Clearly.
We have raised so much less than other parties in the industry, but we've come to the table again, what we believe in a leadership position, and our goal is to reward all our stakeholders.
Well, so far you guys are blazing a path, and the industry is way ahead of where I thought it was going to be. So saying again, fingers crossed that we're going to have you back on next few weeks, couple months, with some more news about more partners coming on, more clients coming on and adopting, because once you guys really pierce that veil at some point, it's just going to, hopefully it's just going to explode, and we hope to be there with you. But congratulations, David. Get some sleep. You've earned it.
Thank you.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast to David Lukacs. He's CEO of Liquid Avatar Technologies, trades on the CSE under the stock symbol LQID, and for our friends in the US under LQAVF. Guys, this is complicated stuff, but it's also where the world is going. We get if you don't take David's word for it. Yeah, small cap CEO, and maybe he's just going to be self-serving and say what he needs to say for his company. But we've told you what Google's doing. That was the biggest one. They're shifting away from precision targeting of ads based on everything you do on the internet. They're getting away from that. This is where the world is going. Ontario government has released a digital strategy on digital identity already. They want big parts of it in place by the end of this year. This isn't some 5-year thing. They want a lot of this in place by the end of this year, and Liquid Avatar is way ahead of it. So how do you do your due diligence? Get to the profile page on Agoracom. Try and provide you with a good 10,000 foot overview there. But then, as I always tell you guys, get over to liquidavatar.com. You can see it right above David. Do your deep dive due diligence, because we may be looking, and just maybe, you have to decide it. So I'm going to say it, but you have to decide it. We may be looking at a paradigm shift in personal identity and parabolic global growth, the likes of almost anything we've seen when it comes to applications on the internet over the last 25 years. So do your due diligence, and don't say we didn't tell you so 12 months from now. Have a great day. See you later. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.